Yeah, we kick this new week of the SportsMax Zone off with football and travel to St. Kitts and Nevis, where former Sugar Boy Atiba Harris and his slate were re-elected as the Executive Council for the country's Football Association, defeating the challengers led by Jeffrey Pedro Hazel 13-8 when the ballots were counted at the association's Special Congress in St. Peter's on Sunday. In thanking the members for returning him to office, 40-year-old Harris said the focus is on continuing to develop the nation's football. He joins us via Zoom to discuss his plans for the upcoming term. Atiba, welcome to the SportsMax Zone. It's good to have you again. Congratulations on your re-election as president. 3.5 years ago, 15-11 is what you won. This time around, 13-8. What's the feeling like? I don't suspect that you would be surprised that the margin is slightly wider than it was last time.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on the show again. It's a pleasure. Hope you guys are having a fantastic new year so far. Football in St. Kitts, we are grateful. Thanks to the members of the SKNFA for re-electing us, our council, to continue the growth and the development of football. They trusted us and they came out and showed it at the polls. So with the margin increasing, I think that's a testament to the good work that we are doing, and we'll continue to impress on and not disappoint our members.
Were you surprised by the victory, or were you expecting it based on, discussions before? You always have a sort of feeling during the election what's going to happen.
Well, it's just like a football match. You go in, you're confident, and anything could happen on the day. But we were always confident that we were going to come out victorious, and we started planning immediately to get football moving.
2 years ago, I remember when I interviewed you, you were talking about plans for the youngsters to go to Cadiz, top La Liga club and everything, to, of course, develop their football skills, get used to being professionals and all of that. Can you talk to me now that you're back in the chair, back at the helm, some of the plans, Atiba, to, of course, continue building on what you would have started previously?
Yes, so what we've noticed is that, we're in St. Kitts and Nevis, one of the smallest, if not the smallest territory, independent state in the region. So the ceiling is only so high for us. So we need to get our players out after we develop them here. I think people meant 18, you have to be 18 to take a transfer to another country, unless your parents move there for work or something that thought. So we're trying to move our players to get them into that professional settings. Tikwani Williams is currently in Kosovo undertaking training, and hopefully he will sign. We're getting positive feedback, so hopefully he will sign a contract over there. A number of players are due to go to the US as well for training, and hopefully they'll be successful. So we intend to get our players out, so that way we can have more local players, local-born players into our national team. Not sidelining our players in the diaspora community, but it's always good to have a strengthening program at home.
Yeah, and one of the things whenever you interview, Caribbean players, and I'm just going to limit it to that right now for this discussion. Whenever you interview them, one of the issues a lot of them have would be training facilities, infrastructure. Some of them, not able to, of course, focus on football fully because, they have to work, or some of them go to school and then football is done on the side because some of them feel as if, football in their country doesn't pay and all of that. Do you have plans to, of course, make this professional when it comes to just the leagues in your country?
Yes, definitely. The top league, that's our aim. First, we started with the club licensing to professionalize the structure and ensure that our clubs are being ran properly. The next step is to ensure that clubs are now dealing with the day-to-day operation and match day operation. So we intend to build capacity, have a few workshops with them, have them understudy the SKNFA staff, current SKNFA staff, so that that way they know how to operate in hosting their own matches, so that way they can collect their gate receipts as well, and along with their sponsorship and support, so they can provide their staff and their players with a stipend. And then as we go, we're gonna take it in stages, and as we go, we can seek more bigger corporate sponsors.
And what about the girls now? You see Jamaica, they have Khadija Bunny Shaw playing for Manchester City. What about St. Kitts and Nevis? What are the ladies like, and how's the program there for them?
So one of the things we did last year, we started our U12 Girls League, which was very successful. So what we found upon it being elected in 2021, that our girls were playing for the very first time in a competitive match at the CFU U14 tournament. So we wanted to create that U12 girls program along with all girls grassroots program, where we can keep them together for a longer period of time. They have competitive matches, develop their talent, and continue to grow. On the senior side, recently we would have participated in a Leeward Island tournament where we would have used majority of teenagers, 15, 16, 17, to play in a senior tournament. And the girls were very appreciative of it, and it was used as a learning process, a stepping stone in the direction that we intend to take. We want to keep these girls together for a very long time, so that way we can have our golden generation as well on the female side.
Atiba, coming out of a lively battle for presidency of an association, there is usually a fractured landscape of the country's football that has to be mended. How much of that do you anticipate doing? Because it's apparent that the Hazel slate that lost weren't happy with how you were performing in the first place, and weren't happy about all of what happened at the election or the process.
Well, you're always going to have challenges, and I think that's what drives us. Again, I'll go back to the point, it's like a football match. You never want to win by default. So one of the first thing I did, and we would have contacted one of our clubs on our sister island in Nevis, because I know there were some challenges over there in terms of the fixturing and the transportation coming back and forth via ferry from Nevis. So we wanted to schedule the meetings and so forth, so we can rectify some issues with our sister clubs over on the sister island. So you're gonna have disappointments. You're gonna have people who are celebrating, but at the end of the day, as leaders, we just have to figure out how to mend those relationships, put away our feelings, and try to work together for the betterment of the football in the country.
And speaking to the media yesterday, you acknowledged that all wasn't perfect in your first tenure as president, and you would try to address some of the shortfalls, which included issues of teams complaining about delayed payments and referees complaining of late payments and so on. How quickly can you address those concerns?
Well, I think what I can say is that the 2024 was completed, and all clubs, all prize monies, referees, everyone was paid. Yes, we had at certain points during the year, we had delays in certain payments and so forth, but we're looking to rectify and ensure that that's not constantly repeated. In any business, you're going to have some challenges and so forth, so we just have to be open and communicate effectively and properly to our membership.
Yeah, I see where you were given a congratulatory message, Atiba, from no less a person than the FIFA president, Gianni Infantino, in the past 24 hours. As I say that, and you getting an endorsement from the FIFA boss, Hazel's crew felt as if there were issues surrounding the election that were questionable for them. There were a few clubs, we understand, that weren't allowed to vote. Presumably would have voted for Hazel, but based on the Constitution, they, as far as you were concerned, weren't properly registered. Can you talk briefly on that?
No, well, we would have revised the statutes on advice of FIFA. We know the previous statutes would have been, I think it was revised in 2008, thereabout, and with an amendment 10 years ago or something like that. So the statutes was very outdated. So we spent time with our membership. CONCACAF, both FIFA and CONCACAF came in and assisted with the revision of the statutes. The members approved it on December 15th, 2023. So that came into effect on that day. Clubs had 12 months to 12-month period, transitional period to fall in line, and the process took care of itself. Yes, there were the secretariat, the staff at the secretariat were readily available to assist all members of the SKNFA, all clubs in the federation. And it was, regarding the election, we have at the electoral code, the electoral committees, both the committee and the appeals committee in place. So FIFA and CONCACAF observe as one hand, and they saw the election as free and fair election. So if the governing body and the confederation were the on hand and they consider the election fair, I don't know what else to say. The members made their decision, and we're happy that we came out victorious.
Yeah, your challenger, Jeffrey Hazel, is the director of sport in the country. Was there any issue from a media standpoint, or maybe the average football fan in the country, that there was a conflict of interest, that someone that held such a prominent governmental position was running for the presidency of the SKNFA?
Well, there was a lot of talk. There was a lot of talk about it, and that's a decision he made. And he has to live with that decision. And also there was I saw open endorsement by the current ambassador of sports for St. Kitts and Nevis, which I found a bit strange. I hope that can be addressed as we move forward, and it wasn't done maliciously. I just hope it was a oversight or a slip in judgment, but I don't think that reflect good on the current ambassador of sports in the country.
Yeah, at 40 years old, Atiba, we reckon that you are probably one of the youngest national football presidents globally. Congrats on the work that you have done so far. I know that you pride yourself in presiding over a St. Kitts and Nevis FA that qualified for the Gold Cup last time out, for the first time in the country's history. What other firsts are you planning to achieve in your coming tenure?
Well, it's not so much first, but it's to continue the development of football, and hopefully, just like our male team qualify for the World Cup, hopefully sometime in the future, our female team will also do the same thing, and we continue to build and have our youth teams consistently qualifying for tournaments, so that way they can get the opportunities to go off to college and sign professional contracts as well.
Yeah, all right, Atiba, we hope to be having more discussions with you, because we like to track the development of sport right throughout the Caribbean. And St. Kitts and Nevis, in many ways, has been a sporting powerhouse in the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States. And we know that as far as a successful professional footballer is concerned, you rank among the highest to ever represent St. Kitts and Nevis. I'm not sure if the local fans in St. Kitts and Nevis would rank you over Keith Kayamba Gums as St. Kitts and Nevis's most decorated pro, because you played MLS for so many years for so many different clubs that, in a tangible sense, you would challenge him, wouldn't you? I know you're going to be modest, but from your record as a St. Kitts and Nevis international footballer, you have to be up there along with Gums.
I'll let you be the judge for that. But Keith Kayamba Gums has always been a role model for me as a player. He's a role model for many during our time. We saw him as a positive person, a positive influence. His action recently, I was a bit surprised to see his action recently, but that's life.
What was that?
Openly endorsing the opponent and saying certain things, but that's life. I have the ultimate respect for him,
yes,
as a player, and I'll continue to do that. He was the one who made it out first from St. Kitts and Nevis, as far as I can recall. So hopefully we can continue and develop a strong relationship and keep going and develop football in St. Kitts and Nevis.
Thank you very much, Atiba Harris. Great talking to you here on the SportsMax Zone. And as I said, we look forward to talking to you again.
Thank you.
Yeah, Atiba Harris there, re-elected president of the St. Kitts and Nevis Football Association. We go to break. We'll have a lot more coming up on the SportsMax Zone after this.